visit the sky today. Hey, I'ma dance on the clouds today and make it.
Hey there everybody, and welcome back. So it's definitely been a little while since we've been flying together, but I'm really excited to be back in the cockpit with all of you today. Today we'll be doing a relatively short flight from here at Los Angeles International Airport on over to McCarran, which is in Las Vegas, Nevada. It's a new year, so there's a lot of folks that are leaving Los Angeles to go out to Vegas or vice versa. And we're going to be taking a Southwest flight to help those folks make it back to Las Vegas. Now, one of the really exciting things about today's flight is that we'll be using Orbx's new Southern California scenery, which covers Southern California in its entirety, from down in Tijuana, Mexico, on out to the Nevada desert. We'll be flying a PMDG 737-700, and we will be flying in prepared version 3.1 today. Our total flight time will be about 45 to 50 minutes or so, so I'm really excited to have you all along for the ride. Let's go ahead and get on in the cockpit, and we'll get started. Alright, so here we are inside the cockpit of our 737, and we are going to go ahead and get the show on the road. So first of all, we'll go ahead and turn on our batteries, and we'll go ahead and close the guards up. We'll also go ahead and put on our ground power, and we will start aligning our IRS. Let's also go ahead and put on our window heat, and let's go ahead and put on our fuel, and then we will go ahead and get our FMC programmed and get on our way. So let's take a quick look at our flight plan to figure out what our fuel should look like. And here's our flight plan. Now, it seems as though there's a couple things that changed, especially with the weather, so we're going to be making some changes to our flight plan, but it'll give us some general guidance. First of all, you can see the fuel that's being called for is 11,644 pounds, so we're going to go ahead and put on 12,000 just to give ourselves a little bit extra room in case we get stuck in the pattern there in Las Vegas. So we'll go ahead and put in 12,000. Great. So 12,000 is in, and let's go ahead and cycle our door real quickly, and then we'll call GSX for boarding. And while we're doing that, let's go ahead and also bring in our jetway. Alright, looks good to me. Let's go ahead and call GSX. Alright, and we will request boarding. And we'll do Southwest Airlines naturally. Alright, so now that's on our way, let's go ahead and get some things on our overhead and our glare shield set up here. So we'll throw on our auto throttle, our flight director, and we'll also go ahead and put our auto brakes to RTO. Let's go ahead and open up our baggage doors. Alright, those are coming open. And our IRS position is now ready to go. So let's go ahead and plug that in. Alright, we know that we're here at KLAX, so let's go ahead and put that in as well. And we'll leave out the gate because it's probably not going to take it. So with that done, let's go ahead and start up our APU. And let's also go ahead and put on our Nav Lights, and we'll also put on our logo as well. Alright, so now that that's done, our passengers are coming on board. We're going to be losing daylight here very soon as it's an evening departure, so we'll go ahead and put on our backlighting. Alright, looks good. Let's go ahead and put on our emergency exit lights, and since we have our fuel on board now, we'll also go ahead and put on our passenger seatbelt signs. Alright, so now that that's all done, let's go ahead and get our flight plan on in here. And let's take a quick look at what our flight plan says here. So it does say that it wants us to take off runway 25, right? But as you guys just saw, traffic looks like it's going on, or in the opposite direction. So 6 left, 6 right, and 7 left, 7 right. So we will have to change that. It does show that it has us going on the Loop 7 star. I'm sorry, SID, over to DAG, over to the KLAX-3 star. So since we're going to be heading the opposite way, we will have to change our SID on the way out. Also, our cruise altitude at 370 is a little bit high for a relatively short flight like this, so we're going to bring that down to about 330. So let's go ahead and get that all plugged in now. So our flight plan is KLAX to KLAS. Go ahead and throw that in. And we are Southwest 5563. Alright, let's go ahead and activate that. And let's take a quick listen to Addons, and we will figure out what we're going to do.
Kilo Lima Alpha X-ray Airport information Echo 1053 Zulu weather wind 058 at 4 visibility 3/4 sky condition ceiling 300 overcast ceiling 800 overcast heavy rain temperature 12 dew point 11 altimeter 2994 advise on initial contact. You have information Echo Kilo Lima Alpha X-ray Airport information Echo 1.
Alright, so information Echo gave us our altimeter 2994, and as you guys can see, the winds are coming pretty much straight down the runway for 6 right. So that's what we'll go ahead and take. We're not even going to use ATC today because it gets on my nerves sometimes. So let's go ahead and put on our APU now. And we'll go ahead and go to standby power. Alright, and let's go ahead and also throw on our yaw dampener here. Alright, so with that said, let's go ahead and get things plugged in. So we'll drop our 0 fuel weight in there. We'll take a reserve of 5, and according to our flight plan, our cost index, let's take a look, is 16. So we'll go ahead and use a cost index of 16. Alright, and we said we're going to take 330 as an amended cruising altitude. And we'll go ahead and take that on. Now let's go ahead and take a look at our departure. So for our star, we will, for our SID, since we're going to be taking 6 right, I think that we will take the, let's take the Gabra 8. Now this is a little bit of a weird plan, because you normally get ATC vectors on out, so we're just going to manually kind of do some of this work ourselves. So if we go on down here and we look at the Gabra 8 details, you can see the instructions for 6 right is you initially take a heading of 070 until 3 DME from LAX, then you take a heading of 055, then you pick up the 345 radial from SLI on over to Gabra. So we'll keep that in mind, and let's go ahead and get some of that plugged in now. So 6 right and the Gabra 8, transition to DAG. And then in terms of our arrival, we're going to be arriving runway 01 right. We'll check weather on the way on up, but I'm pretty sure it's still accurate, so we will go ahead and assume a 01 right, which is an RNAV. And we'll be taking the KLAX-3 from DAG using the Skiber transition. I'm sure we'll have some discontinuities in there, so let's clean those up right now. So there's Skiber, and we will bring that over to the redundant Skiber, and we'll execute that. And then you guys can see we're originally heading out on a 070 to a 055 for vectors to Gabra, which will be that radial of 345 from SLI. So because we do have to make that turn once we hit that 3DME, we're going to go ahead and put in a ring of 3 miles for LAX, just so we can visualize it. And let's go ahead and put in our flaps for 5, and we'll plug in our CG as well. Alright, so V2 is 129. Let's go ahead and get that on in there. And we know we're going to be cruising at 330. Alright, looks good to me. So, our initial heading will be a 070, so we'll put that in. And we know that we're going to be taking the 345 radial from SLI. So we'll plug that in as well. And we'll also go ahead and put in 330 up here for our cruise altitude. Alright, looks good to me. So, let's go ahead and get ourselves ready for pushback here. And before we do, we will tune in to our nav radios, the VORs for LAX as well as for SLI. So, as you guys can see, the LAX VOR is 113.6. So, 113.6. Start off with that, and then SLI is 115.7, so 115.7, and we'll leave that there on the standby, and we'll actually go ahead and also put it here in the first officer side just so we can see it, and we will change that over on the nav 1 once we hit our 3DME for LAX. Alright, looks good to me. So, let's go ahead and get ourselves all buttoned up here and get ready for pushback. And we already have our APU giving us power. So, let's go ahead and throw on the parking brake. And we'll disconnect ourselves from ground power. Alright, everything looks good to me. So let's go ahead and get our VOR set up here. And let's go ahead and call for pushback. Alright, so since we're heading on up to runway 6 right, we will take a look at our AGC, and we're here at Terminal 1. So to get to 6 right, we're just going to take Delta on up to Echo and down to Echo 16, and we'll turn ourselves around onto 6 right. So, alright, let's go ahead and get our pumps all set up here. And our electric demands on. Do a quick before start sweep. Everything looks good to me. Packs are off. And let's go ahead and get ready here.
Departure check completed. Live has been inserted. Release parking brakes.
Alright, since we're about to start, we'll throw on our beacon. And we'll release our parking brake. Alright, so beacon is on. So let's go ahead and start with engine number 2. Alright, and we've got 20 on N2, so we'll go ahead and introduce fuel. And this will likely be the end of our push. So our starter has returned normal, and the engine looks stable. So we'll put that on over to continuous, and we'll start with number 1 now.
Unlocking gear. Tow truck disconnected. Bypass main removed.
Alright, and looks like our start is going well for number 1. We'll wait for it to stabilize, then we'll get ourselves ready for a taxi.
Left is clear. Right is clear.
Alright, looks like that starter has returned. We're 19 on N1. Things look good. Alright, so let's go ahead and put on our generators. We'll go ahead and bring our packs on down to auto. We'll go ahead and close up our isolation valve. We'll turn off our APU bleed. And we will go ahead and also throw on our taxi lights. Alright, let's go ahead and put on our probe heat. We don't need anti-ice for departure, as it's not icing conditions here at LAX. When is it ever then again? And we'll turn this on over to continuous ignition. And let's go ahead and test TCAS.
TCAS test pass.
Alright, so TCAS did give us a good test. We'll go ahead and turn it on. And we will turn it on both of our displays. We'll also throw up weather radar on the first officer side, and we'll throw on terrain radar here on our side. And then we'll do a quick little flight systems test. So full left, full right, all the way back, all the way forward, rudder to the right, rudder to the left, release our parking brake, give ourselves a little bit of power, and then test our brakes. Alright, brakes have a good test. So let's go ahead and give ourselves our takeoff flaps here. Flaps 5. Alright, looks good to me. So I do believe we are ready to go. Take off our APU. And let's go ahead and get the show on the road. So I'm not sure if this truck is in our way. Kind of looks like he may be. I'm going to try to swing out wide around him. Better not hit me. We'll just pretend he was never there. Alright, so looks like we have some traffic on the runway right now. But it's going to be quite a long taxi, so I will see you guys when we are ready to enter the runway. So here we are, runway 6 right, and doesn't look like there's any traffic, so we will go ahead and take our runway and get this party started. Alright, so strobes on, landing lights on. Alright. And there goes Toga.
V1.
Here goes our rotate.
V2.
Alright, we've got a positive rate of climb. Gears coming up. Alright, and we're just watching for that 3DME from LAX. And we'll go ahead and put on our heading. And we'll also go ahead and put on vertical nav. So we're just tracking for that 3DME. And then we'll switch on over to a heading of 055. 2.8. 2.9, and there's our 30. So we're going to take 055 now. You can see the 345 radial there. So we're going to switch this on over to the SLI VOR, and you can see it right there. So we're just going to track until we get a little bit closer to that VOR. Then we'll track the VOR on over to Gabre, and we'll be on our way. We're just breaking through the clouds now, so we'll go ahead and do our after takeoff flow. So gears locked, our auto brakes come to off, and our ignitions come to off as well. We'll also go ahead and take off our taxi lights, and we can also go ahead and turn off our logo as well. So we are going to be hitting that VOR in just a second, so we're going to track the VOR. And as soon as we get some motion here in our needle, we'll switch on over for that. In the meantime, we're cracking through 10,000, so landing lights come off. can also go ahead and turn off our terrain radar. I'll switch to weather on the captain's side as well. Alright, looks like the needle's moving, so we will put on our VOR localizer, and we're probably going to slightly blow through it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn us to a heading of about 025, just to ease up on capturing the localizer. Alright, and the localizer is captured. So we're tracking that on over to Gabre now, and we look good to go. We are in clean air, so we'll go ahead and take off our fasten seatbelt signs. Alright, well, we are on our way. So, sit back, relax, and enjoy the rest of the flight. See you guys when we're ready to start our descent. So here we are in our descent, almost about to break through 18,000, so we're going to get things all set up for our approach here and have a good landing. So first things first is we'll go ahead and put our auto brakes to 2, let's say. We'll go ahead and put on our passenger seatbelt signs. We'll let the cabin know. Also, it looks like our temperatures are within range, so we'll go ahead and turn off our anti-ice. Alright, so let's take a quick look at some things here. So first of all, if we look at our 0 and right for our nav, just going to double check some things here. Our minimums will be 2920. I will do that last because that's going to take forever to get this thing to go there. Yeah, it's going to take forever. So let's go ahead and take a quick listen to Addons. Make sure 01 right.
Kilo Lima Alpha Sierra Airport information November 0804 Zulu weather wind calm visibility 10 sky condition few clouds at 400 temperature 1 dew point -13 altimeter 3021 advise on initial contact you have information November Kilo Lima.
Alright, so 3021's our altimeter. That sounds good. And winds are calm, so 01 right will be perfectly acceptable. So let's get a couple other things programmed in here. So we're coming down to 6,900. We're actually going to bring that down to 4,000, just so we can continue our descent here. We already said we're going to have to get our minimum set up to 2920, but also the runway is actually 3,200. Also, the runway is at 2170, so let's bring this down to 2,200 for our landing altitude. And let's go ahead and set up our HGS so we have a little bit of help. So the runway, the useful runway is 2644. So let's see what that converts to in imperial. 2644, was it? 2644, yep. So 8674 in feet. And we know that it's 2170 for the altitude. And then 8674. Doesn't really matter about the glide slope, as it's going to be an RNAV anyways, but at least that'll be helpful to us. And we'll go ahead and bring our engines. Oh wait, they're already on continuous. Passenger seatbelt signs are already on, so our flows look good. Auto brakes are set. We will go ahead and put in our approach speeds. So we'll be doing 131 for VREF plus 5 with flaps 30, and everything looks pretty good to me. So let's just get this minimum set up, and I will see you guys when we are closer to final. Alright, so we are here on approach now, and you can clearly see the airport is in view. Looks like we have no traffic on the way in. We are going to give ourselves some vertical guidance here, just to supplement the HGS, and we will go ahead and take a look. So we're 10 miles out. We'll give ourselves flaps 10, and we have our landing reference speeds in there, which is flaps 30. And we're about 5 miles out, so we'll go ahead and put the gear down. And we'll give ourselves flaps 15. Alright, we'll also go ahead and move our speed brake, because we had to bleed some speed there. We will arm it. We're coming up on minimums, so we will configure ourselves for landing. Flaps 30. Alright. Put in our go around altitude. And also 012 for our heading. Alright, we're coming up on minimums, and then we will take over. So we'll go ahead and bring down our HGS and get ourselves ready.
1,000.
Alright, here come minimums. And I'm going to go ahead and disengage the autopilot, and we'll also go ahead and take off our auto throttle.
Minimums.
Alright, we're landing. little bit high. We'll be able to bleed that here relatively easily. Alright, we're VREF +5. We're pretty much back on our glide slope.
50, 30, 20, 10.
Right. And reversers are engaged. Auto brakes are working. 60 knots. Pull out our reversers. And we'll switch to manual braking here. Go ahead and pull back our HGS. Turn off our auto brakes. And we'll take this turn off up here. This is what? Sierra with a Delta right in front of us. Alright. That will be important to know as we request our taxi to the gates. So, alright. We're off the runway. Landing lights off. Taxi lights on. Strobes come off. Normal nav lights come on. We can go ahead and return these to the off position, and we'll go ahead and start our APU, and then also go ahead and put on our APU bleed. Alright, flaps come up, spoilers come up, and we can go ahead and also turn off TCAS. And we can also turn off our weather radar on both sides. Looks like it's already up over here. Alright, very good. So let's go ahead and request our taxi to the gates.
Las Vegas ground, Southwest 909er, request taxi to the gate.
Southwest 909er, taxi to gate, Charlie 18, to taxiway off, Charlie, India, November, Echo Romeo.
Golf Charlie inner, it looks like.
Taxi to gate, Charlie 18, taxiway off, Charlie, India.
So we're going to Charlie 18.
Southwest 909er.
So let's go ahead and call GSX up. Charlie 18. And nope, don't need to follow me. And we will take Southwest. Alright, so we came up on Sierra, which is here, and then they want us to take Golf to Charlie. So we're gonna make a right here, join Golf. Golf is gonna turn to Charlie, and then the APC shows Charlie 18 right here, pretty much right in front of the tower. So let me just get our bearings here. Looks like just gonna be making a right here. Alright, so we're on Golf, and we're headed somewhere over there to Charlie 18. So we're just gonna continue up here. When we make the turn, that'll be Charlie that we'll be on. And then we'll wait until we're pretty much abeam the tower, and then our gate should be over there. I think we may have turned a little bit early. It's alright, we'll just follow this around. Alright, and let's, so I think we're going to be right. Let's just take another quick look here. So Charlie 18 is right there, so it should be right over here to our right hand side. Is that it? Yeah, that's it over there. Alright. Alright. Not a perfect taxi, but it'll do the trick. Damn ground traffic everywhere. There's 18. Let's try to line ourselves up here. We are a little bit to the right. Go ahead and turn off our taxi lights now so we don't blind this poor guy. Alright, there we go. So go ahead and throw on our parking brake. Go ahead and request the jetway to come on over. We'll go ahead and turn on our AP. Let me also go ahead and give us some light in here. And AP bleeds are on, so we can now cut our engines. Alright, and let's request deboarding. Let's see what our parking score is, if he's going to give us one. Yeah, parked a little bit too far, but at least we were centered. That's good. Alright, so let's go ahead and open up our doors here. And we will call it a night. Alright, well, thank you guys so much for joining. I hope that you guys did enjoy. A little bit rusty, but we still got the job done. And look forward to seeing you guys on the next one. Until then, safe flying. And everybody, have a good start to your new year. I'll catch you guys later.